and welcome to Soulful. All right. Hello again. Welcome back. And welcome to the unofficial second season of Soulful. And I'm saying unofficial because technically it's just the 25th episode. And I'm just going to let the episode count run. But yeah, there's definitely some fresh energy here. Some new mojo. I'm in a different spot than I was about 4 months ago when we concluded with the unofficial first season. So, second season it is. And here we are. And my name is Drew, if we have not met before. And the goal of the podcast remains the same. Just trying to be honest and show up as authentically as possible. Which means that yeah, there'll be a variety of wisdom and insight and shenanigans. Yeah. And me going on tangents and being cheeky and mischievous. Which I feel like that's my brand. Yeah, I was at a meeting last night and and one of my buddies was saying something about my brand. And it got me in my head. And I'm like, what's my brand? What do you mean? What were you saying? But yeah, I feel like this is my brand. This is my vibe. Yeah. So that's the goal for the podcast. Same as first season. But we'll have some new content that I'm really excited about. Yeah, I got a ton of ideas for the coming episodes, so stay tuned. Hopefully you'll dig them as much as I'm digging them. And yeah, and in this moment, I'm feeling a little bit of noise, a little bit of internal pressure. Yeah, there's a little bit of like, oh, Drew, you got to do this the best. This has got to be the best season ever. You got to do it right. You know, whatever right means. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of that, like, kind of like perfectionist buzz in my system. So just noticing that, just naming that. And then also, as I'm sitting here, like, I'm in the same loft apartment with the same computer screens and microphone as I was the last time I recorded. So like everything here I'm looking at is the same, but like I feel different in this spot. So yeah, just kind of noticing that too. You know, and because I feel a little different, it feels a little weird. You know, there's a little bit of buzz there. But, you know, we're always evolving. And I have found that embracing change is a lot more fun than fighting it. So, yeah. So just recognizing, accepting, allowing the current version of whoever I am to show up authentically and share and play. And so the game plan for this particular episode to kick off the unofficial second season of Soulful. Maybe I'm going to try to set a record for saying unofficial in one episode. Yeah, the game plan for this episode is to catch y'all up, give you a little run through of the past couple months for me, and Yeah, and then I think I'll share a little bit about the holiday family visit because that was cool. And then I'll wrap up with what's going to be new here for 2025 and also for season 2. So that's the game plan. And as always, there'll be space for tangents and random stories as they come flying through. I mean, they're not always random. They're tangentially related to what I'm saying. But anywho. All right, let's catch y'all up. Yeah, it feels good. So, when last we spoke, or when last I spoke, and y'all listened, I had just arrived down here in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And it was the first week of October last year, 2024. And I was pretty banged up. I was running on empty. I'd been feeling the effects of spending most of the previous year, well, like 7 out of 12 months, we'll say, back in the New Jersey bubble. And it has been made painfully clear on multiple occasions that I don't thrive in that energy. And I'm not judging nobody, like to each their own. We all get down how we get down, where it feels good. But yeah, as I step more into myself or rest more into, just being me naturally. Yeah, that northeastern American energy bubble is like, that's just not my jam. That's not my station. I can do like short runs, if I prepare myself intentionally, I can hang for like a couple weeks. And that's what I did over the holidays. So, that's why I think it was cool. But I should not be spending the vast majority of my time in the American mainstream madness anymore. It's just a frequency and an energy that, I don't thrive in or thrive on. So, yeah. And no judgment. No judgment. Well, maybe a little judgment. But not a lot of judgment. So after spending a lot of time back in the density and the 100 miles per hour energy of New Jersey, I was banged up. I was running on empty. I was definitely feeling it. And so then I came down here to Playa del Carmen with the intention of really taking care of myself. And that's what the end of 2024 was for me. It was very much a self-care season. Yeah, and I feel great today as a result. So if you happen to also be feeling like, life is taking a toll and you're running on close to empty, maybe it's time to, do your own little self-care season. Maybe. But I did it, and I feel good. And I think I shared about this in the last episode. I wanted to get into the healthy routines that I know like filled me up. And so I did. And I started hitting the gym every other day. Well, let's say 2 to 4 times a week I'm at the gym. And this is the first time in years. Yeah, since I had like a solid gym routine. It's been cool. And I go and I spend like the first hour-ish of my visit on the treadmill doing like a run-walk combo that, usually it's like 2 to 3 miles. So I get a good sweat, get my heart rate going. And it's been cool to watch my like heart rate like not go as high while I run more. feel like that's like tangible data that my body is getting healthier and I'm getting into better shape. And yeah, and it's been cool too, because that hour on the treadmill, I've been alternating either like a Ram Dass talk or a Muji talk, or some dance music. And so I've been getting into Charlie XCX and being a brat. Yeah, I know I'm old, whatever. But yeah, but I've been liking her station on it's like Pandora or Spotify, whatever. So Charlie XCX, and then Fred again was a cool DJ. And what else? Oh yeah, and then Chapel Roan. Some of her stuff's like not great for the gym, but some of it's awesome. Like Hot to Go. Yeah, that gets me pumped. On yeah. So it's been a nice blend of like hitting the treadmill, and and one day it's Ram Dass, and then the next day it's Chapel Roan and Charlie XCX, and then the next day it's Muji, and and then after that it's like some DJ set from London. So yeah, I've enjoyed my treadmill time, which is cool. And then on the TV, a lot of times they have the like football games that were on recently. So I've been watching football highlights and then listening to the talks and the music. And then, yeah, getting in about an hour on the treadmill. So that's been cool. And that got me into shape to then hit the basketball courts, which, yeah, super grateful for that. And hold on. I'll talk about basketball in a minute. So gym every other day or so. And then whenever I go to the gym afterwards, I go to the spa as well. Oh, yeah. And then when I'm at the gym, once I'm done with that hour on the treadmill, then I do a little bit of weights. I'm not trying to get buff or make like loud grunting noises or any of that stuff. But definitely just, picking stuff up, putting it down, doing some reps on the machines to make sure that my body parts still work and stuff. So that's been cool at the gym. And then afterwards, I'll hit the spa. And so there's a fancy hotel here that has a spa inside. And so I got a membership for the 6 months that I'm down here. And inside the spa, there's a sauna, a steam room, a cold plunge, and then this pool that has like it's got like a little jacuzzi on one end, but then the main part of the pool has all these water jet features. And those things are heaven, man. Like to get some like high powered water jet action on like that like sweet spot in your neck or your back. Ooh, feels good. It's life changing. Yeah. So 2 to 4 times a week, I spend like 4 hours between the gym and the spa. Yeah, tough life, I know. And so that's been great, for feeling good in my body. And yeah, and then I've been dancing. There's an ecstatic dance scene down here that I really like. And I think I'm going to share a little bit about each or most of these self-care things. Because I enjoy them. There's a passion in a lot of this. And I feel like I could riff on some of this in a cool way. So stay tuned for that this season. Coming this season on Soulful. Yeah, so gym, spa, dancing has been awesome. And so there's the one spot, it's been Sunday mornings on the beach where, yeah, we dance for an hour or two and then go right in the water. So, yeah, it's beautiful. And I'm in the Western Caribbean spot down here. So it's like postcard beaches. So, yeah, so that's been cool doing the dancing. Like I said, I finally got back out on the basketball court, which has been awesome. It's taken me a while. And, and I didn't rush it because last year I was here and I rushed it a little bit and then I paid the price. I felt all of my 40-something years on the planet. Yeah, I think at one point I was like crawling to the bathroom for like a day and a half because I went way too hard dancing and playing basketball last year. So this year I was more intentional about getting in shape at the gym before hitting the courts, and it's paid off. So the last 2 times I went, yeah, the one time I was able to play for like 3 hours straight, which is really cool. And don't get me wrong, I'm still in pain like the next day or two, but not crippled, crawling to the bathroom pain. So, so that feels good. And what else? Dancing, basketball. Oh yeah, I signed up and took a 2-month course, meeting once a week to learn more about human design, which is a really cool system for understanding yourself and understanding your decision making. Yeah, I've really dug that, and I'll definitely do an episode on human design too here in the coming weeks or months. Yeah, so it was nice to nerd out. Like I got my notebook and my fancy pen, and some of y'all can relate. I know. Yeah, so it's been cool deep diving on the human design thing. What else? Oh yeah, and then I participated in 2 mushroom ceremonies in November, which were amazing. Yeah, 2 different folks that I did it with, so 2 different experiences, but both of them were really profound, really cool, and yeah, and there was definitely like part of November, probably early December, where there was very little Drew around. Like the experience was very much like presence and not so much Drew, which which it's nice when you're just in the flow. So, or you are the flow. Yeah. So the mushroom ceremony's been cool. And they call them Niños Santos down here. So like sacred kids or sacred children. And I had not participated in a mushroom ceremony, well, ever. But I hadn't, my last experiences with mushrooms was like 20 something years ago during active addiction. So it was cool to hang out with that medicine, as like a totally different person with totally different intentions, in a really cool space, down here in the jungle in Mexico. So, and I'll bring you an episode sharing about those experiences as well. So yeah, so the mushroom ceremonies were amazing. I'm doing yin yoga once a week, which is cool. Basketball like once a week now. Dancing like once a week. I got a nice little schedule, lined up. And I'm hitting the gym every other day. And then on my non-gym days, I sit by the pool and get a tan and then take a nap. So, yeah, man, it's been cool. It's been a very awesome self-care season. And also, I haven't had any clients during that time period. Yeah, started taking on clients here within the last couple of weeks, but for the end of 2024, October, November, December, there were no clients. So like all of the energy that I would use to show up with folks, that space and attention, presence and compassion, I was able to just offer it to myself, which was really nice. And I haven't been too social. There's a really cool recovery scene down here in Playa, but I've only hit like a couple meetings because I just, I don't know, like it's just been very clear that like more of me for me, that allows, like a more concentrated experience of myself. Like I feel more full in a cool way. So, so that's what I've been doing. And then also a little bit of teaching online, which is really more like paid grading than teaching, but whatever. It's a guaranteed paycheck, which means I got AC and Wi-Fi and rent and a relaxed nervous system, which allows me to enjoy everything else. Because there have been prior chapters of my life where I was much more like client dependent. And so if I didn't have clients, I didn't have money. If I didn't have money, I was freaking out. And, that's just not fun. And then the nervous system is all jacked up. But, yeah, but things worked out well to where there's been money's coming in, and and I can actually enjoy the experience I'm having down here. So yeah, cool. So that was the end of 2024. And then, like I said before, I did 2 weeks back in Jersey for the holidays. Came in right before Christmas, left right after New Year's. I also came in to New Jersey, went directly to a sweat lodge the next day, and then I also hit the sweat lodge the day before I left as well. So my approach to returning for the holidays was intentional, and almost had a kind of a ceremony vibe to it, which might be the way I approach it in the future as well. And like I was saying before, it was only a 2-week run, so it was cool. I could show up and be very accepting and allowing and loving, and and there wasn't a lot of my own baggage and bullshit that showed up, which was cool. So I feel like I passed the test. They say if you think you're enlightened, just go hang out with your family for a week or two. And I did. And so I might be enlightened now. Oh shit. I can almost say that with a straight face. But seriously, it was a really cool visit. Yeah, just got to enjoy hanging out with my parents. And also I took my nephew, niece, and nephew, all three of them, on one-on-one movie lunch dates. So that was super cool to hang out with them and really see the little people they're becoming, and they're little worlds. I got to hear some of the scoop and some of the gossip, and I'm pretty sure I got to be privy to some information that maybe my mom and my sister don't know about. But yeah, it was cool, man. Hanging out with my nephews and niece. Like I said, they have their own little worlds that they're creating and living in. So it's cool to hang out with them and ask them questions and hear what they think, and just be on their wavelength. So yeah, really cool family visit. Like I said, with a couple sweat lodges in there. And then I hightailed it back to Mexico just in time to avoid all the January coldness and snow. Well, that's not entirely true. My first night back in Jersey in December, it snowed that night. Yeah, because we went to my nephew's basketball game. And then when we came out of the gym, it was snowing. There was some snow on the ground, so we threw snowballs at each other. So that was cool. A little family snowball fight outside the gym. But then, after the 2 weeks came back, and so I missed all the really cold January New Jersey weather, which, I'm not mad about. And so, after celebrating New Year's at my parents' house with my dad, we hung out until the ball dropped, and then both went to bed 2 minutes later. But after the self-care season and hanging out with the family to close out 2024, then I came back here to Mexico, and it's been about a month. Yeah. Today is the 1st of February. So I've been back in Playa for about a month in the same routines. It took a little bit of time for me to get back up to a certain physical conditioning space. I noticed because when I'm back in with the family there, they both have dogs, and I have to take a bunch of breathing medication, and I use my inhaler a lot. So when I got back here to Mexico, my body needed a little time to recover, but it was cool to not have a bunch of BS stirred up because I went home with emotional baggage. So and so now I'm back here, Playa del Carmen, hanging out, back to the gym, getting the sun. Like I said, start playing basketball, which is beautiful. And yeah, and I'm excited for what is to come here in this new year. Yeah, 2025. What I've already witnessed so far with the first handful of folks that have showed up to do some work is that my approach to self-discovery and healing and awakening and whatever the words are, yeah, my approach has shifted a little bit coming out of that period of not having clients. And so in the past, my approach was a little more like intensive and short term. But what I've done with the first couple of folks that have shown up is actually for 2025, we've done like a full year retainer is what I'm calling it. And so rather than like try to rush through some deep work in a short time period, yeah, it's like, hey, we got a year. We're going to spend some of that year doing weekly intensive work. We're going to spend some of that year meeting like once every other week or once a month, while you're just living. And also like it's a retainer. So if shit hits the fan, I'm available. And for me, it feels a lot better. Like there's not a rush to do work. I'm not trying to like find new clients all the time. And it opens up a space for me to kind of like work with people with the flow of life too. Yeah. And then we're going to do pockets of like intensive work, but then also, have the follow-up zone afterwards too. Right. So it's not like do the work and then not talk again for a while. This will be like do the work and then still check in and then maybe do some more work. So I'm excited for this new way of moving with folks, clients, students, whoever you want to call it. Yeah, because it just became apparent that how I was doing things still had a little bit of that like crisis urgency energy to it. And I don't know. And that's not really where I'm at or what I want to be about. I don't want to get into the dynamics where I'm like fixing people or rescuing people or people think they need to be fixed or rescued in a hurry, right? Like I'd rather be working with people and together we're learning and they're learning about themselves through multiple seasons and multiple events, and there's a learning that's transitioning into embodiment that's happening over this larger period of time, this bigger container. And so, yeah, the bigger vision I love, and also the way things have kicked off here in the first month with the couple folks that are on board, has been really cool, really cool. So, yeah, so new collaboration style here in 2025. Also, y'all are going to get some new books here in 2025, which I'm pumped about. Actually just finished a revision of the Cornerstones. So, yeah, I'm going to release like a second edition of the Cornerstones at some point this year. I also have finished a workbook to go with the Cornerstones. And so I think I might release the workbook first before the second edition of the Cornerstones. Maybe. We'll see. But those are already done. So those are in the pipeline to come out. And then the latest one I've been working on is calling it Lost in the Sauce. And really, this third book will be, it's inspired by what were originally the opening chapters of the Cornerstone book. But it was like a really long opening before you got to the Cornerstones. So I decided to chop it and just keep the Cornerstone book more kind of like condensed and focused. So this Lost in the Sauce book that will come out later this year, it's inspired by those early chapters. And I like it because it kind of targets an earlier point in the journey, right? So like the Cornerstones are money for folks that are ready and willing to invest in themselves, through this framework. And then the workbook will be cool because that'll allow you to deepen your investments or support a deepening of investments in the Cornerstones. But the Lost in the Sauce will hit a little bit earlier in the stages of change, we could say, right? Because it's going to speak directly to kind of like the pain that comes before the motivation to begin investing in yourself. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And then there's like 3 other projects that have materialized that have some momentum behind them. So we're going to get some new books in 2025. And what else? Oh yeah, and then like I said, got a ton of content ideas here that I'm excited about for this new season. And also maybe I'm still flirting with the idea of the spin-offs, that are a part of this podcast, but are kind of their own little mini-series or spin-off, if you will. Yeah, I have 3 cool ideas. I don't know how they're going to manifest, but yeah, I'm thinking there can be one mini-series that's called Unleashed, where I just like go off on stuff, and I could see that being me just like, I don't know, giving myself permission to kind of rant about things that hit my buttons. Like I could easily do one about American society or like the American government or whatever, and I don't really, especially in this setting, I don't give too much attention or energy to those kind of topics because I don't feel like it's ultimately like beneficial. But I don't know, like some of this stuff I feel like, because I'm pretty judgmental, or I can be pretty judgmental, I can be opinionated. So it feels like, all right, maybe this Unleashed thing could just be me like going off and just giving myself permission within that framework to tee off on stuff. Yeah, because like I could cook, like the higher education and the addiction treatment industry, like unmercifully. And I don't know if that would be like cool and helpful and good, or if that's just like me, fanning the waves of resentment and I need to let that shit go. But it's been an idea for a minute. So that's maybe a spinoff. I also think I could do a spinoff called Unhinged, which would be more like comedy flavored. And yeah, I think that could be cool. But then that also immediately like comes with a lot of pressure, because if I'm calling it comedy, then it's got to be funny. Whereas if I'm just talking and it's more like educational or conversational, like funny is a bonus, not an expectation. But maybe we'll see. So Unhinged could be some comedy stuff, and then Unzipped, I think could be cool as honest conversations with folks. But I don't know how many people will be willing to get unzipped, in an episode. Because it's not like the way I would see it is it's not like a fluff conversation. Like there's a lot of podcasts out there right now where people bring on tons of guests and they're all like softball questions and like fluff conversations. And it's all just like self-promotion, and people just stroking each other. I have no desire to do something like that. What I would like to do is get people on and like unzip them. Like let's get into some stuff. Let's talk about things that you don't normally show up on a podcast. Let's feel some feelings. Let's get weird. But I don't know how many people would want to do that. So I could have a cool idea and then only have like 2 people show up, and that would be a short spin-off. But those are the ideas for the spin-offs. If you're feeling any of those, or if you have feedback, or if you want to be a part of something, I would say definitely reach out and we can have a conversation about it. But yeah, cool. All right, hold on. Let me pause. Let me check for time. All right, sweet. So I think that's everything here that I wanted to hit in the first episode. Yeah, you're caught up. Family trip was cool. And I'm excited for everything that's coming this year and this new season. And, oh yeah, and then this will be a nice segue, is just taking a moment to celebrate myself. It's the 4th cornerstone, or part of it at least. Yeah, last night I celebrated 19 years in recovery and healing. And Yeah, it was cool, man. I had a meeting for the first time in a couple weeks. You know, it was nice to see some familiar faces down here. And so, leading up to this second season kicking off and leading up to my anniversary, there's definitely been some like recovery related reflections happening. And so that'll be the next episode here. I'll let myself wander into some contemplations and maybe some storytelling with regard to the 19 years that I have been on this journey of being less of a knucklehead. Yeah. So that's it. That's the kickoff. That's the very first episode of the unofficial second season, or just the 25th episode. And and then we'll pick things up in the next episode, talking about some recovery flavored stuff. So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, for listening, for all your love and support, feedback. Yeah, really, really appreciate it. And I feel really fortunate, really blessed to be able to share with y'all the way I do here in the podcast, and really, just for the whole trip of life that I'm on at this point. Pretty cool ride, man. Alrighty, that's it for me. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind with yourself and each other. It's a crazy world out there these days, so a little bit of compassion and kindness goes a long way. You know, and we all deserve it. We can all benefit from it. So, that's it. See y'all a little further down the road.